KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus reminds you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads Up Guam, IP&E, Fueling Excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And steaks, ribs, seafood, and our famous Fresh Garden Bar. Ruby Tuesday. Good times you can taste.
Tonight on Primetime, the United States Navy responds to the discovery of an ancient Lati site. Plus, our island is facing a crisis from a lack of foster homes. Lawmakers heard testimony on a bill today aimed at providing help. And we'll also take a closer look at a trio of bills passed in session relative to charter schools.
Hafa, good evening, Guam. I'm Julius Santos. Well, it was bulldozed during the Cold War. That's what the Navy says about a Fina Lati site that the local Historic Preservation Office wants to put on the National Register. Chris Barnett has more on this report.
The West Fena Lake Lati site was partially bulldozed during the Cold War, before federal and local laws protecting historical sites on Guam were in place. That's the response from the Navy to a KUAM News inquiry about an ancient site recently discovered by Guam State archaeologist John Mark Joseph at the Navy's weapons storage base at Fena Lake. Acting State Historic Preservation Officer Pat Lujan.
It happened in 1949, so, it wasn't just like in recent time.
We asked Lujan if the Navy bulldozed Lati sites before laws protecting historical locations were enacted. Does that make it okay?
Well, it doesn't make it okay. But again, it's a different era, right, than we are today. I mean, if they were to do that, then, now we have law, both federal and local law, to back us up to do something about it.
A letter to the Navy from then-acting Shippo Rich Chabanez on June 24th saying not only did the Navy miss a significant Lati site, almost 800 years old, in 5 different studies of the Fena base spanning decades, but they also bulldozed part of it. The official word from the Navy, quote, one Lati set shows disturbance from construction was carried out during the Cold War before the National Historic Preservation Act or other federal or Guam cultural resources protection laws were in place. Lujan, meanwhile, could not confirm if the West Fena Lati site would eventually be cleared from the area as part of the data recovery process laid out in the programmatic agreement, but he did say that his office will push for preservation.
We'll definitely be involved in it and have mitigation and express the desire to leave in place. And if there's any other options to fulfill what they need to do, then we can work with them on that.
The public comment period for Programmatic Agreement Memo P608 is open until August 5th. P608, the designation given to the Weapons Storage Magazine Project Design Studies at Fena, or Naval Mag as it's commonly called by the military, Aroti Point and Naval Base Guam.
Obviously, that's a very secured area because of what is being stored there. But because of the richness of what is possessed there, any type of future projects, it's going to be a very scrutinized area that's going to require a lot of archaeological work and a lot of study, even before they do anything.
The Navy says they, quote, look forward to collaborating with the Guam Shippo to develop preservation options and to respectfully investigate an ancient village in the Fena area in accordance with the 2011 Programmatic Agreement. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Thank you, Chris. To get an idea of how Lati stones at the Fena site look, the Latis at Lati Stone Park in Hagåtña were moved to the park from Fena. Well, more than 200 advocates made their voices heard last night in Hagåtña protesting against Rear Admiral Chatfield's denial of a pause on firing range construction. Tomas Maglotña files this report.
Over 6 million rounds of ammunition will be exchanged at the site of the firing range.
No amount of trash cleanups and photo ops that they can do will make up for the amount of contamination. Jessica
Nangata with Protehil Detectan and over 200 protectors made their voices heard at last night's demonstration in Hagåtña. They've garnered more than 14,000 signatures in support of their cause online. Shoshana is not our Sina. That's one of the many messages at tonight's protest where organizers say the Rear Admiral's response to the Magahaga is unacceptable. Advocates showed up in full force holding signs sharing a unified message: protect the Chamorro people.
We want our governor to speak up, and we want her to have a stronger voice and not just say pause around the tree.
The Rear Admiral's response to the Magahaga's request for a pause until December heavily relies on her assertion that the fire tree is already protected. Organizers say that only scratches the surface of detrimental impact. Senator Sabina Perez locked arms and has a message for Chatfield.
With all due respect to Admiral Chatfield, I know she's going to be here for just only a short period of time. I mean, why not pause? And why have to really just ramrod this decision through?
Senators are touring the contested site on Friday and may call for a complete halt. Supporters like Tiara Napati says the military is controlling without consent.
It's more than just a one-time construction event. It's permanent destruction of the limestone forest. We can't get back.
For many protectors, this isn't the end. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tomas Manglotna.
So just Masi Tomas. Well, Guam is facing a crisis from a lack of foster homes for a growing number of abused and neglected children. Senators today listened to emotional testimony on a bill by Senator Mary Torres that would ease the rules and provide much-needed help for an overburdened system. Nestor Lecanto has this report.
It's been more than 20 years since the current foster care regulations became law, and the number of foster families has not kept pace with the number of children needing them. There are more than 250 foster kids and just 33 licensed homes. Helen Middlebrook is a foster parent.
You don't even need to do the math to know that we have a crisis. And when you have a crisis, you don't make it worse by limiting your options with rules that make it more difficult to solve the problem.
She's talking about the current limit of 6 children per home, biological and foster. She and Bethany Taylor of the Harvest House believe it's too limiting. Taylor has 6 children. 3 are foster kids, brothers who have a sister that can't live with them because Taylor's family is at the limit.
My 3 kids have experienced a home, but her, as a 13-year-old, experienced a 1.5 years in a mental health shelter. Our family has made it very clear to CPS, the shelter, and the court that we want her. She has a strong bond with her biological brothers. She has a strong bond with my own children in my home, and she's requested to live with us.
Both support the bill, which would give Child Protective Services the discretion to exceed the 6-child limit.
On Guam, we have big families. And as those of you from large families know, the rule in a large family is, what's one more? Somehow, in a large biological family, we manage. Large foster families can manage too.
We take the most severe, the most neglected, the dirtiest, and the diseased. We take them all. We always say yes. We have 6 total children in our home, but CPS has still called on us for those emergency placements with our family because they have no one else to call. We always say yes. CPS is already bending the law to care for these children, to allow us to care for them, so we prefer to adjust the law so we can help support the law.
Advocates believe the added flexibility is needed to help an overwhelmed CPS and increasingly the children of broken families.
It's heartbreaking after 10 years of doing what we do on Guam, because every child matters to us.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Well, senators closed out this month's session today by passing a trio of bills, all related to the operation of academy charter schools. Senator Jim Moylan's bill to allow prospective charter schools to choose which option to apply for passed by a 12-2 margin. Operators can decide if they want to convert to an existing GDOE facility or build a new one. Previously, the law limited the number of non-converted schools to 3 out of the 7 that are authorized. Senators also passed a pair of bills by Vice Speaker Talina Nelson. One establishes the budgetary and organizational processes for charter schools independent of GDOE. It also establishes a separate funding source and sets tuition amounts based on the number of student enrollees multiplied by the pupil per pupil cost. The other measure sets up the requirements for accreditation and what a school must do if it's placed on a probation for not achieving accreditation. Nelson's bills passed unanimously. And now, let's take a closer look at the impact of those 3 bills. Bill 57, 106, and 107 addressing charter schools have cleared the hurdle. Respectively, the bills address the approval process, the separation of the budgetary and organizational process of charters from GDOE, and finally, their timeline for accreditation and renewal. Chief Operations Officer for iLearn Academy, Helen Nishihira, says that they support the bills, particularly Bill 107, as she says her school is up for renewal.
Current law states that the charter has a 5-year lifespan and then is able to renew. And so with the current law, we should be in the process of renewing, but we don't have a sitting council that's able to even look into our renewal process. So by Passing 107, that would give iLearn another year for the council to convene and go through the renewal process. So that's our biggest concern right now is renewal.
Nishihira says there are currently 3 sitting council members. The former chairwoman, Amanda Blas, stepped down last month. The council needs 4 members for a quorum. Without a quorum and possibly no GDOE, no action can be taken.
That was the biggest concern. With GDOE not in play, what would the accountability look like for us? But with GDOE out of the process, then that would remove one layer of bureaucracy, So it's a catch-22.
Senator Tello Taitagui agrees that there needs to be a system of accountability in Bill 106, but she says that adding an amendment would require another public hearing.
I understand the importance of the legislation to push through. I mean, we're almost into a school year, we only have a couple months to go. And the support by DOE for both Bill 106 and 107 was a good indicator, that they feel it should be on its own and not under DOE.
The senator says although she feels Bill 106 puts the cart before the horse, she supported it since she is proposing a bill to address accountability by hiring an executive director to work with the Charter School Council. Taitagui's support for charter schools is based in her support for school choice.
I think a choice is important for everybody. You're looking at what the public is wanting, the parents are wanting for their children, and complying with them.
With the push for a more Chamorro village, our Tomas Maglonia speaks to business owners in Hagåtña for their reaction.
The Chamorro village may be facing its biggest challenge yet, an identity crisis. The push for a more Chamorro village in Hagåtña by the Department of Chamorro Affairs leaves many of the on-site vendors questioning what that really means. Jamaican Grill co-owner Tim Murphy says while it's difficult to change the restaurant's name, he's on board with everything else.
So we're making extra red rice, pinadeni, chicken caligwin, okay? We're making all the products from Guam where we can, eggplant, green beans, so we're all about it too.
But not everyone who's heard the news buys the idea. Vendors say they already strive to sell products with a Guam seal on them from local producers. Agat resident Jerry Tulahi is a frequent customer. He says the island should embrace itself as a melting pot.
Maybe the emphasis could be the Chamorros, but I think it'd be a nice idea to be open up to different ethnic groups.
Other business owners we spoke with did not want to speak on camera, but passionately shared that they think there are bigger issues at hand. One shop owner tells us that maintaining the facility is difficult and she receives little support for repairs. Another vendor repeatedly asks, what does it mean to be truly Chamorro? Agency head Anne-Marie Arceo tells KUAM that the effort is about promoting and encouraging moments to showcase, share, and also transmit to our youth the culture and language. She adds that the community deserves at least one place where that spirit is consistently present. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tomas Maglonia.
Thank you, Tomas. A man who was convicted in April for stripping parts off a 2017 Tacoma truck found along the Okadu pipeline will spend 5 years in jail. According to a press release from the Office of the Attorney General, Jenner Ngiraibuuch was given the maximum sentence for a criminal mischief as a third-degree felony conviction. The Tacoma was stolen from a local contractor while he was replacing tiles at the Micronesia Mall. About a month later, police were investigating a separate crime and came upon the defendant and another man driving away from the truck. Parts of the stripped truck were in the car with the defendant. Another story, Fukuichi Gyogo Kabushiki Kaishi was sentenced in district court today for 2 violations of the Act to Prevent Pollution from ships and 1 count of obstruction of an agency proceeding under a plea deal. The company will be banned from U.S. waters and ports for 5 years and will pay a $1.5 million fine. The charges stem from April when its fishing vessel pulled into Apper Harbor and dumped oil and trash directly into the waters. They also tried to cover up their actions by not keeping accurate records on their disposal. We'll stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O displays the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with a 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
Now there's a technology that's lighting the way to a new mortgage for people all across Guam. Introducing Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii, Hawaii's leading lender. Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii lets you apply for a home loan anytime from any device, making the mortgage and refi process faster and easier. Or work hand in hand with one of our residential loan experts. So put the power of choice and control in your hands. Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to tomorrow.
Matson is in this community. We've been in this community for decades. We're gonna be in this community for decades to come. Things will get busy, things will get quiet, but we're gonna be here. We're your hometown carrier. And that matters to us.
Reliability is the core of our business. We take pride in ensuring that we arrive in Guam on time as scheduled.
It's our local employees who understand the market, who understand the business, and provide that hard work for you each and every day.
When we hold ourselves to high standards, our customers also hold us to high standards. We establish good business relationships that turn into friendships. That's why it's so important to be here and be trusted by your customers. We want you to trust Matson like your friend, like your family.
The island continues to pay homage to its war survivors in our 75th year of liberation. Another gathering was held at Zotnya, Talampago. Continuing this week's moving tributes to remember the lives of the fallen and respect Guam's war survivors, a ceremony was held in Zotnya and Talampago later this afternoon. The memorial will honor those who stayed in Camp Asinan. Community members and elected officials came together to remember the many stories, reminding the community to never forget. Well, the Port Authority of Guam has filed its newly created staff attorney position. Port GM Roy Respicio tells KUAM former AG's Office Chief Prosecutor Joe McDonald has been picked up by the agency. McDonald was also a former Deputy Chief Prosecutor with the AG's office. Prior to moving back to Guam in 2014, McDonald worked in commercial and banking in law in Florida. According to Respicio, McDonald will handle the bulk of the Port's Civil Service Commission hearings, including those of the controversial Port 7. McDonald will be paid $119,000 in salary a year. Meanwhile, the Port still doesn't have a legal counsel. Respicio says the Port's bid for legal services has been at the AG's office for review for the past 2 months. The law firm of Phillips and Berdalio was the former legal counsel for the Port. Their contract expired in June. Well, for the first time in 42-year history, the Pacific Circle Consortium is hosted on Guam and is wrapping up today. Over 150 participants from the NMI, Japan, Hawaii, and New Zealand joined the event. Theme, Connecting Past and Present, Educating Across Generations. Education specialist with Guam Pacific Historic Parks, Nicole Calvo.
So it was a great combination of academia with traditional scholars and practitioners talking about why it's so important to have some kind of cultural identity on the island and involving that in the Western concept of education.
The consortium will posthumously award the 2019 Peter Bryce Award to Agata Iglesias Johnston for her work as a civic leader and educator. A proclamation signing declaring July Parks and Recreation Month. Acting Governor Josh Tenorio and Acting Governor Tina Muñoz Barnes on hand to congratulate the department's employees and management. Barnes reminisced about the old DPR softball leagues and harkened back to DPR's heyday when the agency had some 400 employees.
These folks are truly the VIPs behind the scenes, taking care of all the sporting, recreational events and protecting on all the parks, and they do a good job with the little that they have.
DPR was created by statute in 1975, and it's divided into 3 divisions: the Parks Division, the Recreation Division, and the Historic Resources Division, which houses State Historian Tony Ramirez and the Historic Preservation Office. Well, if you're looking into snag a spot along this year's 75th Annual Liberation Day Parade route, tomorrow is your day. Starting at 8 a.m., the Department of Parks and Recreation will be issuing camping permits at the Paseo Stadium building. Director Richie Banes says reservations will be handled on a first-come, first-served basis. The fee is $50 per space, due upon registration. Only 1 permit will be issued per adult applicant, so make sure you bring a valid ID. Permits will be from KFC to Bank of Hawaii and from GWA Treatment Plant to the Pavilion No. 3 parking lot. Temporary vendor permits will be issued, but vendors must provide a copy of their business license, health certificate, and a fee of $100 for profit organizations and $50 for nonprofits. Permit fees are non-refundable. Lastly, a cleaning deposit fee of $75 shall be made by cash and or an on-island check payable to the Treasurer of Guam. Well, the Catholic school system has a new superintendent. Dr. Juan Flores succeeds Richard Alvia, who left in May to pursue a doctoral degree. Flores has a bachelor's degree in biology from Colgate University in New York, a master's in education from the University of Portland, and a PhD in leadership studies from Gonzaga University in Washington. According to news files, Flores was hired as superintendent of the Department of Education in 2003, but his contract was terminated by the board in 2006. Well, sports is up next. Keep it here.
Agent Alpha.
What's that? An Alpha Insurance customer needs a claim settled immediately? I'm on it.
Agent Alpha.
In the event of an accident, theft, or breakdown, each of our Alpha Insure agents are trained to go above and beyond.
This is my stop. There she is. Target acquired.
Agent Alpha.
Yes!
The summer of Jeep, Compass, Cherokee, Wrangler, Cars Plus, and Mighty. Your new adventure starts now. Buy the 2019 Motor Trend SUV of the year and get a new Jeep Wrangler Sport for $268 per paycheck. Or get a new Jeep Compass Sport, only $167 per paycheck. Let them hear you coming in the new 2019 Jeep Cherokee. Buy for $205 per paycheck. And get financing as low as 1.99% on all Jeep models. Come see why you'll be kicking it at Cars Plus in Mighty. Driven by you.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
What are you gonna do now? How are you gonna push? How are you gonna live? It all depends on you. You ain't got time to be complaining. You ain't got time to be angry. So if you feeling weak and you in that dark place, you better find the light within yourself, because when it's all said and done, we are all brothers and sisters in battle. I ask you to be strong. Whatever challenge you face, there is no obstacle greater than you. Be productive, be powerful, and from the bottom of my heart, my name is Coach Payne, and I'm asking you to conduct your business. No!
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports, brought to you by Triple J. Your Pacific Games update from Apia Samoa is on the way, but first off, some footage from a youth rugby camp being held at Adelup. Check it out. Custom Fitness is wrapping up their youth rugby camp tomorrow with their third session of the summer. Head coach Brian Ramiro was joined by assistant coach Steve Sablon, former U.S. national team member Zach Pangilinan, and coach Jerome Artero. First-time player Linda Camacho says despite not knowing the game, she enjoyed the tackling and hitting most of all.
I joined the camp because I was interested in joining for high school, and so I really wanted to learn the basic fundamentals first. I didn't know any of these girls before the camp, and it was good because they're actually going to be my future classmates. And so the camp also gave me a chance to meet new girls.
The camp also taught players basic nutrition for the sport, injury prevention, mobility and stretching, recovery, laws, and spirit of the game.
It's really awesome to see new players come out. Shows that there's a lot of talent out there, and that we just need to find it. And that was the whole idea of the camp, was just to get new players, current players that have never played tackle before, to get that experience to prepare them for the next level, which is the high school.
Camp participants also got to get in some game time experience with scrimmages after going through their workouts.
I like the camp because my friends are here. I get to talk to them. And then it teaches you to get better at your passing, your tackling, your hitting, how to ruck better. Just progress my skills.
The focus of the camp is to introduce the sport to new players and to get the younger ones ready for the next level. Rugby continues to grow on Island, and the coaches say they are excited for the next wave of talent coming into next year's high school season.
Well, since I didn't know the game at all, they broke it down to me in a non-complicated way. So now I understand it more. I'm looking forward to playing for high school now that I know more, and now that I experienced what it feels like to even pass on the field and tackle.
Now for your Team Guam Pacific Games update from Samoa. Team Guam swimmers Benjamin Schulte, Maneri Gomez, and Mark Imazu took to the pool for their competition. Schulte finished the 200-meter breaststroke in 5th place. Gomez also finished in 5th in the 800-meter freestyle, while Mark Imazu raced in the 100-meter backstroke. Schulte came in 1st in his heat for the 50-meter breaststroke. Sebastian Castro came in 4th in the heat. Jagger Stevens finished the 200-meter freestyle heat 3rd and 7th overall. In other Team Guam action, Va'a V1 athlete Isabel Gutierrez competed in the female 500-meter race, finishing in 8th place. Shane Palomo competed in the men's 500-meter race, coming in 7th place overall. Both events were held at the Sheraton Samoa Apia Wharf. The information was on the GNOC website. Men's hoops. Team Guam improved to 2-0 after beating Tonga 101-65. Takumi Simon had the hot hand for Guam, finishing with a team-high 30 points on 7 of 13 shooting from three-point range. J.P. Cruz added 23 points. He was 6 of 13 from the outside. Jonathan Galloway added 10. Guam will next face New Caledonia on Saturday.
The phone you want now on the best network and a plan that gives you endless data on chat, social, and music apps. Tell your Docomo Pacific rep you want now with access. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply. Check out Triple J's spectacular deals going on now during the hot summer savings event. 0 down and no payments for 90 days. Get into a Mazda CX-5 at its lowest price of $19,995 or $152 per paycheck. The big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $282 per paycheck, or the Honda Civic starting at only $176 per paycheck. Triple J says yes. Purchase your next vehicle online at triplejguam.com today. Triple J, customers first.
Ah, the Netherlands. Home of the Stroopwafel McFlurry from McDonald's. A mix of delicious vanilla soft serve and caramel waffle cookie pieces. But to get one, you'd have to sneak out of the office, dig out your luggage, wait for boarding group 12, figure out what that means, take a train, take a boat, take a bike, and finally order one. Or get to your neighborhood McDonald's now, because for a limited time, worldwide favorites are here. Around the world is now around the corner.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Tonight's birthday shout-outs are led off by 52-year-old Sonny Perez. Happy birthday, Sonny. May you have many more birthdays to share with family and friends coming from your dad and your sister. Happy birthday wishes also going out to Papa Joe Chargaloff, who his family says does not look a day over 72. We love you very, very much, Papa. Coming from Jonah and Isaiah Mendiola. Also, a happy birthday to Patty Santiago coming from your family, and they say we love you so, so, so much. Also, happy birthday wishes going out to Allendale Bernal today, who blows out the candle, so happy birthday to you. And a happy birthday to our editor extraordinaire, the incredibly gracious, amazing, creative Megan Perez. Love your KUAM family, and from Tim and MJ.
Now remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. So please make sure to include with your photo, your name, and birth date. Well, that's going to do it for us here at the news, but stay tuned. Bree is up next with In the Mix.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E. Explore your world.